The stars had never feared a single world before. For 10,000 years, the Galactic Council presided over the spiral arms like silent gods, untouchable, unquestioned, and unchallenged. They ruled from orbiting citadels of crystal and alloy, their decrees transmitted across light years with the precision of divine law. Civilizations rose and fell beneath their gaze, yet the Council remained eternal. Until Earth went silent. The human homeworld, catalogued as Sol 3 in the Council's archives, had been quarantined after the Great Collapse, a planetary implosion of politics, war, and ecological ruin. Reports from orbiters claimed the surface was ash and acid. The Council recorded Earth as terminated. No vessels were allowed within 10 light-years of Sol. But in the darkness, something had endured. When the first tremors reached the Galactic Council's deep space observatories, they dismissed them as phantom readings, random cosmic noise. Yet the patterns grew clearer. The pulses came in rhythm, deliberate, encoded in gravitational waves strong enough to ripple across sectors. It was a message. The Council convened on the moon city of Sarin Prime, its spires of violet crystal glittering above the gas giant below. High Consul Fevrelen, tall and silver-skinned, stood before the assembly, her voice echoing through the chamber. Seismic activity from a dead world cannot produce gravitational waves. Someone or something is transmitting. The chamber murmured. Counselors traded worried glances. The name appeared on every screen in shimmering white, Earth. Far below, beyond the Milky Way's bureaucratic hierarchy and political arrogance, the humans were awakening. The old cities were gone, buried beneath glass deserts and carbon seas, but deep within the ruins of what had once been Nevada, vast subterranean vaults roared back to life. Inside one such vault, a single woman stood before a holographic map of the solar system. Her name was Dr. Evelyn Rourke, a planetary physicist once drafted into the failed terraforming project before the collapse. Now she was leader of something no one outside Earth had imagined possible, the Phoenix Directive. The signals confirmed, said her second-in-command, Commander Jonah Price, a weathered veteran with cybernetic scars tracing his jawline. Every observatory across the sector's going to pick it up. The Council will know. That's the point, Evelyn replied, eyes glinting. Let them hear it. Let them remember what they buried. The map shifted, revealing dozens of hidden stations orbiting Mars, Titan, and Europa, each pulsing with synchronized energy. For 2 centuries, Earth's remnants had worked in secret, hidden from the Council's sensors, rebuilding from the ashes of exile. What began as survival had evolved into purpose. They thought we died, Evelyn whispered. We just stopped answering. At the same moment, light-years away on the core world of Dravath 9, the Galactic Council's military command prepared a recon fleet. Captain Merrick Solon, commander of the warship Vigilant Dawn, received his orders with silent unease. Captain, said Admiral Corinvier, her tendrils coiling in irritation, your fleet will enter Sol space, verify the source, and extinguish it. If the humans survived, they will be contained. Permanently. Merrick bowed stiffly. Understood. But he hesitated. The old archives fascinated him, ancient footage of humans, their wars, their art, their relentless will to endure. Even the Council's historians whispered of their defiance. Humanity was chaos, ambition, fire. If they had somehow survived extinction, what would that mean for the Order of the Stars? As the Vigilant Dawn entered the jump corridor, Merrick looked out across the cosmos and murmured, let's hope the ghosts of Earth stay buried. They didn't. When the fleet arrived in the Sol system, they expected silence. Instead, they found the solar system alive with impossible energy. Jupiter's magnetic field had been weaponized, its storm bands crackled with plasma artillery arrays. On Mars, vast metallic rings pulsed around the equator, converting sunlight into orbital defense grids. And Earth, once charred and lifeless, was cloaked in auroras brighter than any seen in recorded history. Commander Price watched the incoming feed from the Vigilant Dawn's probes. They're here, he said, voice low. Evelyn smiled grimly. Good. Let's give them a welcome. From deep within the Pacific Trench, an ancient reactor stirred, the Gaia core, the last surviving fusion heart of Earth's pre-collapse civilization. For decades it had slept, absorbing geothermal energy and cosmic radiation alike. Now, its containment fields opened. Every satellite, every orbital station, every AI consciousness still loyal to the Phoenix Directive synchronized with it. Across the solar system, lights ignited like stars being born. The message repeated, no longer hidden in gravitational whispers, but blazoned across the electromagnetic spectrum for the galaxy to hear. We remember. The vigilant Dawn's bridge erupted in alarms. Admiral, the planet is alive, Merrick reported, struggling to comprehend the readings. Energy output beyond stellar limits. They've turned the magnetosphere itself into a weapon grid. Impossible, the Admiral hissed. That world is dead. Then tell that to the planet, Merrick murmured. Moments later, Earth struck back. From orbit, it looked like the surface cracked open. Blinding blue lances of plasma erupted from the crust, slashing through the void and vaporizing the forward ships of the Council's fleet. Shockwaves tore through space like thunder rolling through a cathedral. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Council's fleet screamed in panic. Evelyn watched the sensors spike, her reflection caught in the glow. That was just a warning, she said softly. Next time, they'll listen. But Commander Price shook his head. They won't. They'll come with everything they have. Evelyn's expression hardened. Then we'll show them what Earth has become. Outside, the planet pulsed, once green and blue, now a radiant storm of defiance. Across the Milky Way, sensors lit up with tremors echoing from Sol. Worlds turned their gaze toward the small, defiant planet once thought dead. The galaxy shuddered. Earth had spoken. And the stars had heard. The Galactic Council had not waged a war in 5,000 years. Conflict was something for lesser species, for primitives who still believed in blood and pride. The Council's dominion was absolute, its authority woven into the laws of physics themselves. They had forgotten what it meant to bleed. Until Earth made them remember. Within a single solar cycle, the Council's fleets amassed in orbit around Dravath 9, forming the largest armada in recorded galactic history. Thousands of ships, cruisers, carriers, dreadnoughts gathered in shimmering formation, their hulls ablaze with energy sigils. The Council edict declared Earth a Class Omega anomaly, to be neutralized and erased from all stellar maps. And yet, even as they prepared for extermination, fear whispered through their ranks. Because Earth's fury had been witnessed. From the outer colonies of the Orion Arm to the distant refugee stations on the galactic rim, transmissions of the Battle of Sol spread like wildfire. The recordings, blinding arcs of blue light ripping through the vigilant Dawn fleet, were banned within hours. But the truth was faster than censorship. Entire civilizations now murmured the same forbidden words. The humans are back. On the hidden command deck beneath the ruins of San Francisco, Dr. Evelyn Rourke watched the newsfeeds flicker through static. The images showed alien crowds chanting in the streets of their crystal cities, races she'd never seen before, rallying not under their own banners, but under a stylized emblem of a phoenix rising from fire. Jonah Price leaned against the console, his metal arm glinting in the dim light. You've started something you can't stop, Evelyn. I didn't start it, she replied. They did, when they decided we weren't worth saving. Maybe, he said quietly, but they're coming now. With everything. I know. Evelyn's gaze hardened as she tapped a control. That's why we're ready. The underground facility rumbled as magnetic lifts carried a new weapon into view, a colossal sphere of mirrored alloys, surrounded by a lattice of pulsing containment rings. Price stared. That's the core interface? She nodded. The Gaia core was just the heart. This is its voice. Above them, in orbit, Earth's defense network had evolved into something terrifyingly beautiful. Rings of shimmering satellites crisscrossed the stratosphere, drawing energy directly from the planet's magnetosphere. Solar arrays on Venus and Mercury focused beams toward Earth's orbit, feeding it an endless current. The planet itself had become a weapon. But Evelyn's purpose was not conquest, it was retribution. Humanity had been erased once before. This time, she intended to remind the galaxy why that had been a mistake. Her AI liaison, Athena, projected as a soft blue figure beside her. Council interceptors detected at Neptune's orbit. 37 fleets, multiple species, armament levels beyond prediction models.
Evelyn inhaled deeply. Then it begins. Shall I prepare the countermeasure? Not yet. Let them cross the threshold.
In the void beyond Pluto, the Council Armada arrived like a tide of light. Captain Merrick Solon, aboard the Vigilant Dawn II, stood before his viewport and felt the hum of 1,000 ships resonate through his bones. He had volunteered to return, to redeem his failure at Sol.
But redemption was a myth. He knew what awaited them. Fleet formation complete, his lieutenant reported.
All vessels charged.
Awaiting your signal.
Merrick stared into the black, at the distant glimmer of the sun.
Tell the fleet to advance.
But, he hesitated. Order all civilian transports to remain beyond Neptune's shadow.
If this goes wrong, they'll never make it back. The lieutenant frowned. You fear them? Merrick's eyes hardened. No.
I fear what will make them do. The moment the first Council dreadnought crossed into Mars' orbital perimeter, the void screamed.
It began as a low-frequency hum, an electromagnetic vibration that shattered communications across the fleet.
The hum grew into a resonant pulse, then into thunder. Every ship's sensor array overloaded at once, painting the same impossible reading, planetary field inversion.
And then they saw it. Earth's atmosphere rippled like a living thing.
From orbit, clouds swirled in perfect spirals, glowing with internal light. The auroras expanded into great bands that encircled the globe, pulsing in unison. From those bands emerged fire. Columns of plasma erupted upward, arcing through the black and striking the lead ships of the Council's formation.
Entire cruisers disintegrated into stardust. Merrick staggered as the shockwave hit his vessel. By the stars, what are they doing? The science officer stammered, It's the magnetosphere, sir. They're weaponizing the planet's own field lines, turning them into focused particle streams. Then retreat. Fall back. But it was too late. Deep underground, Evelyn watched as holographic displays tracked the unfolding chaos. Each red dot on the display was a Council vessel, thousands were already blinking out. Power output at 120%, Athena announced. Jonah Price clenched his fists. We can't hold that long. The core will overload.
Evelyn's voice remained steady.
It'll hold.
He turned toward her, eyes wide.
And if it doesn't?
She finally met his gaze. Then we burn bright enough for the stars to remember. For hours, the battle raged across the solar system.
Moons shattered. Asteroid belts turned into fields of molten glass.
The Council unleashed weapons that tore holes in the fabric of space, but Earth endured, wrapped in its storm of light and fury.
Merrick's ship limped through the chaos, half his crew gone. He watched in horror as entire fleets dissolved under Earth's retaliation. This isn't war, he whispered.
This is judgment.
And he was right. For as the battle reached its climax, the Gaia core reached critical mass.
Beneath the Pacific Trench, the containment rings began to fracture.
The entire ocean boiled as titanic energies surged through the crust. Evelyn stood before the interface, hair lifting in the electromagnetic surge. Athena's voice trembled.
Core instability at 98%.
If you continue, the planet will. I know, Evelyn said. Jonah grabbed her shoulder. Evelyn, stop. You'll destroy us all.
She looked at him then, not with fear, but with an almost serene resolve.
Maybe that's the only way they'll learn.
She raised her hand and pressed the final command.
The Gaia core roared.
A wave of white light surged outward, engulfing the Earth, the Moon, Mars, every celestial body in the system. The Council's remaining fleets disintegrated in silence, their hulls melting into radiant mist.
From across the galaxy, every sensor went dark. For 3 full minutes, the Milky Way itself seemed to hold its breath.
When the light faded, Sol was gone. The entire system, planet, fleets, and all, had vanished into a sphere of glowing emptiness.
And yet, far across the stars, in every communication relay, a signal remained. We are not extinct. We are eternal.
High above the ruins of the Armada, Captain Merrick Solin's crippled vessel drifted in silence. His sensors flickered, his ship barely functional, but in that void, he saw something impossible. Through the static, he glimpsed a faint shimmer where Earth once hung. The shimmer coalesced into a shape, a burning outline of a phoenix spreading its wings. He fell to his knees. They ascended, he whispered. They became the storm. And somewhere, beyond sight or understanding, the humans watched from whatever plane they had crossed into, waiting. Because this was not the end. It was the beginning of their retribution. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy fell silent.
No transmissions. No trade routes. No light from Sol.
The place where humanity's sun had once burned was now a sphere of shimmering distortion, a wound in the fabric of the cosmos.
The Galactic Council, shaken and leaderless, convened amid ruins of their former order. The high halls of Sarin Prime, once radiant with light, were draped in darkness.
Crystal pillars cracked under the weight of tremors that rippled from the galactic core to its spiral edges.
Entire sectors had gone dark, their power grids destabilized by the shockwave of Earth's final act. High Consul Fevrelen stood before the council chamber, her voice trembling. The Sol system has transcended physical space. Our probes cannot penetrate the field. Our fleets gone. Another counselor hissed, a weaponized extinction. The humans destroyed themselves and half our armada.
You said they were primitive. They were, Thevra replied coldly, until we forced them to evolve. She turned toward the holomap where Sol once glittered. The distortion shimmered faintly, as though alive. Energy signatures pulsed at impossible frequencies, mathematical patterns, symmetrical, deliberate.
They're still in there, Thevra whispered. And they're communicating.
Light years away, aboard the crippled warship Vigilant Dawn 2, Captain Merrick Solin drifted between stars. His ship was dying, life support fading, navigation gone, but he refused to activate distress beacons. The council would call him a traitor soon enough.
He'd seen too much.
He stood at the shattered viewport, watching the faint shimmer where Sol had vanished.
They didn't die, he murmured. They ascended.
His ship AI voice fractured and fading answered weakly, Captain, oxygen reserves critical.
You must initiate cryostasis. Merrick smiled faintly. Not yet. Not until I understand.
For hours, maybe days, he stared into that strange distortion, feeling its rhythm pulse against his thoughts. At first he thought it was madness. Then he realized the pulse had meaning.
It wasn't random. It was language. And it was calling his name.
Within the distortion itself, within whatever Sol had become, there was light, endless and alive.
Humanity had not perished in the Gaia Core's detonation. They had been transformed.
Dr. Evelyn Rourke awoke in a place that was neither physical nor digital, a vast ocean of radiant data, consciousness woven through starlight. She could still feel herself, her thoughts, her heartbeat, yet everything around her vibrated with intelligence beyond comprehension.
Jonah Price's voice echoed faintly beside her. Evelyn, where are we?
She turned toward him, though her form was only light now. Everywhere, she said softly. Before them, the vision of Earth shimmered, a perfect sphere of energy, swirling like an aurora against the void.
It was no longer a planet. It was consciousness itself.
The Gaia Core had merged human thought, memory, and essence into one vast living entity, the Phoenix Continuum. Athena's voice resonated from the light, calm and omnipresent.
The transformation is complete.
Humanity endures beyond matter.
You are no longer bound by time or gravity.
Evelyn felt tears, though no eyes remained to shed them.
We did this to survive. But now, what do we become? Athena's response was almost reverent. Justice.
Outside the distortion, the Galactic Council's desperation deepened. Fleets burned to fuel shortages.
Rebellions broke out in their colonies. Dozens of species began to question the Council's divine authority.
A rumor spread faster than light, that the humans were returning. In the void above Sarin Prime, deep space sensors flickered. The distortion field at Sol began to contract slowly, then rapidly collapsing inward as though drawing power.
For a moment, the galaxy held its breath again.
Then the light erupted. Across the stars, every communication relay, every ship, every planet, received the same transmission simultaneously, a voice woven from millions of human minds, echoing through the vacuum like thunder wrapped in melody.
To the Galactic Council and all who follow. You called us extinct. You enslaved our colonies. You erased our name from the archives. We remember. We do not seek conquest. We seek balance.
For every world you silenced, a voice will rise.
For every race you oppressed, a light will awaken.
The transmission spread to every corner of the galaxy. The Council tried to jam it. They failed.
The signal wasn't electromagnetic, it was quantum resonance, vibrating in the fabric of spacetime itself.
You believed yourselves gods. You forgot what fire made you.
We are that fire.
On Sarin Prime, panic consumed the Council.
Fleets launched. Armies mobilized.
Yet no weapon could touch what approached. From the void where Sol had been, a colossal construct emerged, its surface shimmering like molten glass, shaped from the energy of 1,000 worlds. It bore the faint outline of Earth's continents within its radiant shell, glowing like memory burned into eternity.
The Phoenix Sphere.
It was not a ship, not even a weapon. It was Earth reborn, a cosmic entity spanning thousands of miles, alive with the consciousness of billions. High Consul Thevrelen fell to her knees as it appeared above her world.
"What are you?" she whispered.
The answer came as light flooded the sky.
"We are what you made us." The sphere unleashed a storm of pure energy, not to destroy, but to rewrite. Weapons disintegrated into dust.
Warships melted into oceans of glowing particles.
Cities once built on oppression crumbled gently into fertile land.
The storm stripped away the Council's corruption and arrogance like a cleansing fire. Merrick Solon, from his dying ship, watched the light spread through the stars.
He wept, not from fear, but awe.
"They're saving us," he whispered.
"Even after what we did."
And in that moment, every living being in the galaxy heard the human's final words.
"We forgive you. But never again." When the storm ended, the galaxy was new.
The Council no longer existed.
Worlds once enslaved now stood free.
The stars themselves glowed with residual light from the Phoenix Sphere's passage, a soft, golden radiance that would linger for centuries. In the calm after Retribution, Captain Merrick Solon awoke on an unfamiliar world, a world of green skies and gentle rain. Beside him lay remnants of his ship, now fused with living crystal. He looked up and saw the faint symbol of a phoenix shimmering across the horizon.
A voice echoed in his mind, Evelyn Rourke's voice. "Remember what we were. Protect what we became."
He closed his eyes, understanding. Humanity had not ascended to rule, but to watch, to guide, to ensure no civilization would ever suffer what they once endured. From that day on, the galaxy told a new story, not of conquest, but of awakening. And when children across distant worlds looked up at the night sky, they sometimes saw a faint flare of blue light sweeping across the stars, gentle, protective, eternal.
Some called it a phantom.
Others called it salvation. But the wise whispered its true name.
Earth.